Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Greetings, galactic earth angelics of the new earth. Happy Nativity Day of Mother Mary, the goddess, divine feminine. With these intense fiery energies of the queen, of the goddess of new earth, we want to do a quick transmission before we record our full transmission today. We got 144 coming in right off the bat. This quick update is from Divine Sister of the Light, Dr. Shavi M. Ali, and they're off, cleansing and upgrading of creation. The phrase "and they're off" is used when horses surge from their gates in races. It may be the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, or the Belmont Stakes. In like manner, cosmic energetics race to the planet, not in competition, but in a cooperative bringing of light for cleansing and upgrading of creation. The current race of energies is that solar flares of medium strength, C-class, coronal mass ejections, CMEs, and solar winds have occurred during the new moon energies of September 2021, which have brought plasma particles into Earth, Gaia's magnetosphere, causing an activation of her inner and outer fields. The magnetosphere can be considered like the planet's auric fields, a protective surrounding force that can be penetrated by cosmic rays from both inside and outside of our galaxy. On a chart, when the magnetosphere is powerfully filled with plasma, it appears with a red hue pulsating and pummeling around and into the planet. The KP index, administered by the observatory in Oulu, Finland, which registers the activations, some would use the terms disturbances, to the planetary fields, is rated as unsettled. Spiritually, this is actually Earth Gaia receiving information via light and sound transmission and reception. Scientifically speaking, the KP index on any given day is rated as being either quiet, unsettled, storm, or severe. When the aforementioned conditions are extant, there are usually strong thunder and lightning storms, tornadoes, earthquakes, and floods around the world. There has been, in fact, a 7.0 quake in Mexico yesterday, September 7th, and several storms and tornadoes in the USA and in other nations, which have resulted in power outages in the past several hours. Chakras in both the planet and in the human physical vessels are being worked upon, and people are reporting increased pain levels in muscles and joints, scratchy throats, headaches, heart palpitations, and fatigue, as well as other symptoms. The average consciousness will, of course, say that since seasons are changing, colds and flu are happening, such persons do not realize the meta, beyond, physical, material, indications of a transformational process of the carbon system to a crystallized or spiritually awakened system, which requires a total overhaul of human parameters of experience, which may seem to appear as illness in the lower streams of consciousness. They do not understand that this process has been occurring for thousands of human years, and mankind has labeled the cleansing of cellular records and clearing of DNA with certain names, which then allow for the development of medications to handle or remove the so-called problem. Thus people have willingly medicated themselves into actually having a low immune system and an inability of higher thought processes. As is constantly discussed, especially for those who are new to this type of knowledge, the cleansing and clearing process of the creations of Source is not without uncomfortable physical, mental, and emotional symptoms, which many refer to as ascension symptoms, and to which I have introduced the term light activation symptoms, abbreviated LAS. An analogy is to think of a building, it may be a home or an office building, which has been occupied for many years with no upkeep being done until new owners occupy the space. That building will become dusty, dirty, paint-chipped, and moldy. It will need to be either torn down, repaired, and redecorated, or a new building constructed in its place. This is exactly what is happening in creation. Particular beliefs are being torn down, cells and DNA are being repaired, and new levels of individual and collective consciousness are being constructed. The hammering and nailing of the light can be challenging to the nerves of the human physical building. Another metaphor that is often used is birth, Labor is not fun, it hurts, but the end result is a beautiful baby. Therefore, think of creation as being reconstructed within the sacred womb of Source, and we are being prepared for rebirth as higher-minded, crystallized formations of Source light. If we really believe that we are of God, then it must be realized that the nonsense, chaos, confusion, oppression of people, suppression of vital information, etc., is not in alignment with the infinite perfect presence, the greater spirit, life force of our individual life forces. There have been many of these throughout the space-time continuum. This is a timeline when there is a complete breakdown of civilization, and all of the horrors that are involved, such as environmental toxicity, wars, famine, disease, group prejudices, economic problems, religious indoctrination, political intrigue, riots, crime, quakes, volcanic eruptions, floods, and more disharmonies, all disruptions to the divine symphony, all yugas, ages, last for thousands of human years. The Kali Yuga currently being experienced on this planet began in approximately 4,300 BCE before the Common Era, when the massive continent of Al-Kebulan was invaded and the lands were burned, temples dedicated to Source as the Divine Mother were destroyed, books of knowledge were burned, and people who refused to go along with the incoming doctrines were annihilated. In 3228 BCE, the Avatar Sri Bhagavan Krishna took physical birth and gave humanity divine principles. He left his physical form in 3100 BCE, a span of 128 earthly years. Thus he arrived and left within this current Kali Yuga, which is still raging. It will not end until enough of humanity has elevated to a higher spiritual frequency. During any Kali Yuga, only a quarter of all human beings are elevated, or even trying to make the attempt. We must travel through the other yugas, whereby a half awaken, then 3/4 awaken. As of this now, we are in the age of Aquarius, whereas, as I have previously discussed, is not the new golden age. It is a time period when lots of opportunities are provided for humanity to obtain higher knowledge and learn to use it wisely. Some refer to it as a recess period from the most devastating turmoil of Kali Yuga, because increasing numbers of mankind begin to level up. This recess began on December 21st of the year 2020, when the planets Jupiter and Saturn aligned in Aquarius, in the tropical zodiac, and Capricorn in the sidereal zodiac. However, even the recess period has much debris that must be cleared away. Source knows when all yugas begin and end, human beings do not. Remember this verse from one of the world's scriptures: no one knows the day or the hour. Think of this metaphor. A soon-to-be mother does not know the exact day or moment when her labor will begin. The obstetrician can give her an approximate date of the birth of her baby. However, the mother can glean an idea of when her labor will begin in the final weeks of her pregnancy, because she knows the physical signs, and she has also developed a strong intuition. The signs are occurring which indicate eventual rebirth, which are definitely in labor. The signs of Kali Yuga, however, are still extant as well. Mankind has been given much free will. It can be employed wisely for blessings or unwisely for consequences. The truth is that once our souls are fertilized by Source, we have the power to gestate ourselves via our escalation in consciousness, and to be born with the light frequencies acting as the forceps which help us. So as for the question, when will the new golden age arrive? Here is the answer. When would you like it to arrive? We are given the decision to harmonize with Source or not. Some will be born into the gold before others. They are more already developed in the birth canal and have turned towards the light. They will reach back and assist their brothers and sisters as they head, perhaps slowly, towards rebirth. Prepare for an autumn season, Northern Hemisphere, and a spring season, Southern Hemisphere, which will test your willingness and preparedness for rebirth. The cosmic messengers, flares, winds, CMEs, are the professors distributing our pens and paper, giving the exam, and soon they will say, begin. The great central sun and the photon belt will say of us as they send power to the sun of our galaxy. And they're off from disclosurenews.it. Thank you for joining us today. Have a most beautiful and blessed Mother Mary of the Divine Waters Day. If you'd like to support our work and mission, you can make a pledge or donation at egolovecondor.com. We will see you on our full transmission later tonight. The Eagle and the Condor love you all. Namaste.